We are live streaming.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Rebecca Johnson. I'm the clerk with the Town of Parry Sound. This is the first meeting of the West Parry Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Joint Municipal Service Board. I can confirm that I received a signed agreement from each of the 6 participating municipalities, being the Archipelago, Carling, McDougall, McKellar, Parry Sound, and Seguin. So we are a duly constituted board and first meeting. I will do a roll call of members who are today participating at the meeting. And so when I say your name, just please say present. Archipelago Reeve Bert Liverance.
Present.
Carling Councillor Terry Gilbert.
Present.
McDougall Mayor Dale Robinson.
Present.
McKellar Mayor Peter Hopkins.
Present.
Parry Sound Mayor Jamie McGarvey.
Present.
And Seguin Councillor Terry Fellner.
Present.
Thank you. Thank you all. So we have not just quorum, but all members in attendance. So we'll move then to the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, I will ask then if I could have a mover and a seconder for the agenda. Reeve Liverance, seconded by Councillor Terry Fellner. Are all in favor that the agenda for the September 10th, 2021 West Parry Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Joint Municipal Service Board hereby approved as circulated? Thank you. Okay. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, none. So the first item of business of the 5 items is the appointment of chair and vice chair. So I am convening this meeting and chairing it, but I'd be glad to see a chair and or vice chair appointed if not for the entire term, then for at least today. I'm seeing a motion from Mayor McGarvey.
I'd like to move Donald Sanderson as chair of the committee or the board.
Do I have a seconder for that? Reeve Liverance.
I'd like to speak to this if I may.
Yes, please.
It's our opinion that it would be prudent initially to appoint the board chair and the vice chair on an interim basis until this corporation can gets on its feet, and it's all been so sort of last minute and running hard. So we're in complete agreement with Mr. Mayor McGarvey's suggestion for Mr. Sanderson as the chair, but we wish to have it on an interim basis initially. Both the chair.
Councillor Fellner, do you have a suggested time period when you say an interim basis?
The first few meetings, that's what we're thinking, the first few meetings until we get this thing off the ground and out of the gate.
All right, so that's, I guess, an amendment to the, a proposed amendment to the motion that Donald Sanderson be appointed chair. Do I have a seconder for that amendment? Mayor Robinson?
Yes, and maybe just a friendly amendment to that amendment, I suppose, is I think it would be good to have a time frame for it. So I would suggest to at least the end of 2021 to give us some time for it, or as changed by at the discretion of the board. I'm hoping Mr. Sanderson's agreeable to taking this position. Before we saddle them with it. Yeah.
We have a friendly amendment to the motion by Councillor Fellner that the time period be till the end of 2021. And are all members in favor of the amendment being the time period for the interim position of chair? Okay, we're in favor of that. And are all members in favor then of appointing Donald Sanderson as the chair on an interim basis until the end of the year? All in favor. Thank you. Well, we have a chair. Are there any nominations for a vice chair? Reeve Liverance?
I'd like to nominate Jamie McGarvey as the vice chair.
We have a seconder for that motion. Mayor Robinson? Are all members in favor of appointing Jamie McGarvey, Mayor Jamie McGarvey, as vice chair for a period to the end of the year? I see 2 hands up.
We got 3.
3, I see 4 now. So I have and Mayor Hopkins, thank you. So I have that as passing. So thank you very much. We now have a chair, Sanderson, and a vice chair, Mayor Jamie McGarvey, until the end of the year. I would like to now turn this meeting over to Chair Sanderson, who is in attendance.
Thank you very much, Ms. Johnson, and thank you, committee members, for the confidence that you've placed in me as your interim chair. It's an honor and a privilege for me to do so, and happy to work with Mayor McGarvey as the vice chair and all of you, and as well as your team and CAOs and team members. It's as I said, it's an honor and a privilege. The next item on our agenda is item 2.2, and that is a resolution concerning the notice of meeting. There is a report in our packages in the agenda package. Is it normal? Is it customary for the chair to read those, to read the recommendation in the background?
I can respond that is normal to read the recommendation, not necessarily all the background, however.
Thank you very much. So I will share with everyone the report recommendation, and that the purpose of the report is to confirm the notice period for the September 10, 2021 meeting notice provided, whereas Section 1, subsection I of the West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center Joint Municipal Services Board Agreement permits waiving the minimum 5 working days notice for calling a meeting that is called on an emergency basis. And whereas finalizing of the Municipal Services Board Agreement occurred as recently as Thursday, September 9th, 2021. And whereas the deadline to execute the transfer payment agreement for the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program funds to the board has been set for September 10th, 2021, which is today. Now, therefore, the Municipal Service Board hereby confirms that meeting notice provided on September 8, 2021 is compliant with the emergency notice provisions of the agreement. May I have a mover for said resolution? Moved by Reeve Liverance, seconded by Councillor Gilbert. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That resolution is carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 2.3 on your agenda is contact information and signing authority, again included in the agenda package. And the purpose of the report is to obtain board approval for signing authority, and it is the recommendation that the board require 2 signatures on all documents, and that the following have signing authority on behalf of the board, those being the board chair, or when unavailable, the vice chair, and either the Town of Parry Sound treasurer or Town of Parry Sound clerk. May I have a mover and seconder to get that on the table for discussion? Moved by Mayor Robinson, seconded by Mayor McGarvey. Any discussion? Ready for the question? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That is carried unanimously as well. Thank you very much. And moving to item 2.4, that being the facility operating name. And the recommendation, the purpose of the report is to authorize execution of the agreement to accept the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, or ICIP grant. And it is the recommendation that whereas the West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center Joint Municipal Service Board is desirous of establishing a unique recreation and culture center / facility which meets the needs and interests of all West Parry Sound communities and encourages healthy lifestyles, social interactions, and physical well-being through education, recreation, wellness, cultural and athletic activities. And whereas the town of Parry Sound, on behalf of the West Parry Sound area municipalities, and before the creation of this board, was approved to submit a joint funding application for an Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program grant for the purpose of constructing the West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center. And whereas a requirement for the transfer of funds from the ICIP grant to the board requires the execution of an agreement. Now, therefore, the chair and vice chair of the West Parry Sound Recreation Cultural Center Joint Municipal Services Board are hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the board the transfer payment agreement for the ICIP Community, Culture and Recreation Stream with Her Majesty the Queen in right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Infrastructure, Sustainability in the form attached as Schedule A, and subject to correction of the trust transferee's name as the West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center Joint Municipal Services Board for the transfer of funds to construct the West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center. May I have a mover and a seconder to get this on the table for discussion? Moved by Councillor Fellner, seconded by Reeve Liverance, and we are open
Mr.
for discussion.
Chairman,
Yes,
Mr.
Mr. Councillor Fellner.
No discussion on this other than, did we do 2.4, the resolution to approve the operating name of the facility?
I believe you are correct.
I hate to do this after you went through that long.
I am sorry.
Again, but I think it's probably prudent that we approve the name before we.
You're absolutely correct, and I appreciate your indulgence, all of you.
Okay.
I would like to respectfully go back to item 2.4 on the agenda, which is the resolution for the facility operating name. And to the purpose of the report is to recommend an operating name for the facility. And the recommendation is that the board hereby approves the operating name of the facility as the West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center. May I have a mover and seconder for that resolution? Councillor Fellner, Mayor Robinson, and that is open for discussion now. Yes, Reeve Liverance.
So my understanding is that if we were to get a sponsor of some sort, that the name could potentially change to whatever the sponsor would like if appropriate funds are provided. Is that correct?
I would ask for CEO Harris to answer that question, please.
Yes, that's through the chair. That's correct. This is, we just want a simpler, quick name to use. But if there was a naming convention for the facility, the board can change the name. The legal name is much longer, and that's what's on the agreement. But for everyday purposes, sure, we can change it.
Thank you.
Further questions or discussion? You're ready for the question. All in favor? Any opposed? And that resolution is passed unanimously. Thank you.
And I think since you read 2.5, Chair Sanderson, I don't think you need to read it again.
I appreciate that, your consideration, and apologize for getting my pages mixed up. So item 2.5 is I will just review the purpose of the report, and that is to authorize the execution of the agreement to accept Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program grant. And the recommendation has been shared. May I have a mover and a seconder to get that resolution on the table for discussion? I have Councillor Gilbert and Reeve Liverance. And this matter is open for discussion. I believe that the agreement is comprehensive, has been expertly reviewed by the respective CAOs and teams, and I'm seeing no comments or questions, and I would call the all in favor. Opposed, if any? And that resolution is carried unanimously. Thank you. I believe that brings us to the end of business this morning. Is there anything else that properly come before the Joint Municipal Services Board this morning? Yes, Mayor McGarvey.
I just want to say thank you to you for your guidance and leadership, Donald. And I want to thank all of the municipalities for their support and work on this. And to the CAOs, thank you very much. I know the CAOs did a lot of the grinding or whatever to get this here, but I tell you, this is remarkable. Really appreciate it, and I want to thank everybody. I'm very, very happy, very, very pleased for everybody here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor McGarvey. I would echo those comments and add Ms. Johnson to that for keeping me and us
absolutely.
well organized as well. But as we've said many times, this is our time for West Parry Sound, and I'm extremely proud of the work that you have all done to get us this far. There is hard slugging to go from here on, but I'm confident that you will continue to be successful, and I'm happy to help out as long as where I can. So no other business to come before us. I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay well. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.